Welcome back to Down the Stretch. Big up to all my viewers and subscribers. This is for racing for Saturday the 31st of January 2026, the final race meet of January. Remember to hit that like button if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. This is a 10 race card, competitive looking card, so let's get right into it. The first race, 5-year-old and up, numbers of 3 and imported 5-year-old and up, numbers of 2, field of 10, they go 6 furlongs, going to boil it down to 4. They're going to be the 3, Bobby Too Bad, the 4, Solace, the 5, Tiffany Blue, and the 10, Chief Dissident. Okay, Bobby Too Bad, Richard Shakes claiming 2 kilos here for Robert French. Ultra consistent 5-year-old horse, has 2 consecutive wins back in October and November. Since coming to this level, last 2 starts were 2 seconds, was second by a neck, going 5 furlongs round to A Breath of Fresh Air, who recently came back and won. Last time out, 6 furlongs, was second to the outsider Blood Moon, had Chief Dissident behind there. One of the pacier horses in the event, and getting this 2 kilo claim from Richie Shakes, expecting Bobby Too Bad to be right on the premises from early and put in another good run. The 4, the horse I like in the event, Solace, Emilia McLean, claiming 3 kilos here for Barrington Bernard. So coming in extremely light, coming in at about 108 pounds. Good run on last time. Me personally, I think Solace would have won this race last time out if he wasn't hindered. Was hindered bad at the half mile, going 5 furlongs round in that same race won by A Breath of Fresh Air and Bobby Too Bad, carrying 112 pounds that day. Really got knocked out of it, lost about 7 lengths, turned for home 7 by 7 lengths and came home to finish 4th by 4 and 3/4 lengths. I personally believe that Solace would have won that race if he wasn't hindered. So coming back here now, stretched out a furlong longer and freshened up for this. Still active at exercise. I kind of like Solace if the pace comes back to be the horse that can probably get there at a decent price. The 5, Tiffany Blue, Radish Woman riding here for Garrett Crawford. Ridden by Dane Nelson last time out and was back down to 9-5 in that race with the Blood Moon and Bobby Too Bad. Did not raise a gallop, stayed 7th most of the way, stayed on to finish 6 by 8 and 3/4 lengths at the finish at 6 furlongs. But back here now and getting the services of the champion jockey and down 5 pounds in the weight, I think Tiffany Blue, who has been in this class for quite some time, should come alive and put in a good run coming from off the pace. And the 10, Chief Dissident. Now Chief Dissident, Shaman Townsend, claiming 2 kilos here for Patrick Lynch. Stretch running horse, last time out at 7 furlongs. 4th by 3 and 3/4 lengths to Successful Man and Princess Catalea. Before that, came from far off the pace at this distance, at this level, to finish 3rd by 3 and 3/4 lengths to Blood Moon and Bobby Too Bad. Will get a pace in front of him today again, and with his fitness definitely not in doubt if they collapse up the stretch. Chief Dissident, even from the wide draw, if he can get clear of traffic coming to the lane, will be finishing strong at the finish. So those are the 4 I think it comes down to. If Bobby Too Bad can withstand the early pace, he has a good chance. But that run by Solace last time out after being hindered and coming in so light, I kind of like Solace at a good price. The second race, native bred 4-year-olds and up, numbers of 3 and imported 4-year-olds and up, numbers of 2. Small field of 6, they go 7.5 furlongs, ball is down to 3. They're going to be the 1, Lockdown, the 2, Prince Roy, and the 6, Star Quest. Okay, Lockdown, Christopher Mamdine riding here for Howard Jagai. Beaten 4th by 15 lengths last time out, going 7 furlongs against a out-of-class looking American Aviator who won by 6.25 lengths. Lockdown was chasing the speed early before fading, but before that at 6 furlongs at a higher level, ran well, came from off the pace to finish 3rd by a length and a half against Big Buzz Margarita after coming out of the gate slow. The distance, I don't think the distance is a problem to this Lockdown. Depending on the tactics used, he prefers to come from off the pace. So I'm willing to throw that last race out because he was just too early against much better horses. This time around, if Mamdine can get to rate him from off the pace, I think Lockdown will be the horse finishing strong. They've now put on the tongue tie, so let's see if that does the trick. The 2, Prince Roy, Tevin Foster riding here for Jason DaCosta. So 2 runners in this race for Jason DaCosta. 3rd by 12 lengths last time out of class American Aviator at 7 furlongs. Before that at 6 furlongs, 7 by 6 lengths to Big Buzz Margarita and Lockdown. So some poor races before that, but did have a win back in October. 7 furlongs coming from off the pace to beat I'm Outstanding, who is present. Prince Roy coming into this race, active at exercise, working well, gets the service of Tevin Foster. If they have a pace meltdown, Prince Roy should be one of those finishing strong at the finish. And the 6, Star Quest, Anthony Allen claiming 2 kilos here for Jason DeCosta. Nothing in the last 3 starts, but was 5th by 15 lengths last time out against the out-of-class American Aviator. Before that, at 7 furlongs, higher class, 7th by 17 lengths to out-of-class Fred the Master, Linguist, and Nuclear Jet. And before that, at 7 furlongs, was 8 by 13 lengths to way out-of-class H2O, Don Quessy. So this is like a down-in-class run, in my opinion, with this Star Quest. Last win was for 3-year-old non-wins of 2, going 6 furlongs when running on to beat I'm Outstanding, who's the horse I think they're going to have to catch here. So getting this 2 kilo claims and active at exercise, I think this Star Quest is going to put in a good run. So small field, competitive, depending on the pace. Up in class, Joyful Surprise, and up in class, I'm Outstanding represents the pace horses in the race. So the way I'm working it out, that those two might hook up and cook themselves, which sets up for the stretch runners. That's why you don't say I don't lean towards I'm Outstanding or the very light Joyful Surprise. You know, I could be very, very wrong in this, because maybe one of them decides to just get the lead by themselves. If that happens, they can run away with it. But I'm expecting a pace meltdown, and I like Star Quest at a price, but I probably use all 3. The third race, Nature Bred 3-year-old maiden. A field of 7, they go 6.5 furlongs, ball down to 4. They're going to be the 1, Minnehaha, the 2, London Spirit, the 4, Senior Biscotti, and the 6, Passion and Beyond. Okay, Minnehaha. Pretty sure they used to have a horse way back in the days named Minnehaha. I hear stories about a horse like that. Anyway, Minnehaha. Tevin Foster riding here for Robert Pearson. Well-bred filly, Savoy stamp out of Red Gold. Bred for a ton of speed. Working well. Had a workout with Uncle Nally on the 10th of January. 5.5 furlongs in 109. First 5 in 102. Worked 6 furlongs in 117. And coming into this race, galloped out the straight, out the gate, 47.3. Pulled up in 102.2. So that's a nice work coming to this race with this Minnehaha. As I said, bred for a lot of speed. First time Lasix on debut. D2, London Spirit. Robert Eileen right here for Jason DeCosta. Running some good race. Recent times was 3rd by 7 lengths in December to We Jammin' and Senior Biscotti. Then ran in the 2-year-old stakes. Had a horrible start. Stayed on to finish 6 by 11 lengths. And last time out at 7 furlongs, the 10th of January, was second to stablemate Bigger Boss, closing from off the pace. So lacks early pace. So depending on the pace setup here, some kind of pace meltdown happens. I think London Spirit will be coming home pretty strong once again. Definitely the horse has faced better horses so far. So expecting London Spirit to be closing strong up the lane, even with 126 pounds in his back. The 4, Senior Biscotti, Radish Woman riding here for Richard Azan, was second on the 13th of December to We Jammin' by a neck when gambled down to 1-5. In that race, wasn't looking himself, to be honest. Had his tail cocked up, like he was feeling discomfort, but ran a brave race. He ran like that before when finishing 4th by 2 lengths to Tia Maria as well. Then flopped in the 2-year-old stakes. Was a no-show, 8 by 22 lengths to the same horse that beat him by a neck at 7 furlongs 13 days before. So probably was really feeling something, but has looked much better at exercise. Coming to this race, 5.5 in 108.1, 102 for the first 5. They've taken off the blinkers, so I think they're going to want to go back to the old way of running him. Don't want to force him too fast. Expecting a good run here from the Senior Biscotti. And a horse I've been waiting to see run, Passion and Beyond. Dane Dawkins right here for Anthony Nunes. Well-bred filly, Savoy stamp out of Above and Beyond by Blue Pepsi Lodge. So good bloodline there. Has been working well at exercise. Has a 49-3, a 51 with Inspired Force, 103-3 with Papi Uso, and a 102 for 5 furlongs. Don't see any gate work, so I would prefer to see how fast she runs out the gate. But after the breeding, I'm definitely going to squeeze her in here to put in a good run, this Passion and Beyond. So youngsters, I don't generally go out on a limb when it comes to youngsters, especially when you have fresh foots in the race. As I said, Minnehaha, bred for a lot of speed, looks really good at exercise. Passion and Beyond, well-bred horse as well, decent at exercise. And the horses that run before, London Spirit, good late running horse, and Senior Biscotti, if all is right, possibly a horse to beat. I think I'm going to use all 4. The 4th race, 3-year-old up, claiming 1 million to 800,000. A field of 9, they go 7 furlongs, ball is down to 4. They're going to be the 1, Here Comes Doc, the 6, Awesome Anthony, the 7, Thousand Treasure, and the 9, Easy Peasy. Number 1, Here Comes Doc. Ran loose riding here for Gary Griffiths. Late running 6-year-old horse. Third last time out at 6 furlongs for a million claimer. Didn't really get much of a pace to run at. Fly Blue Jet controlled the speed of that race and no one got close to that one. And Here Comes Doc still managed to run on to finish third. This time around, possibly might get a pace to run at. And if that happens, Morning Line says 12 to 1. Outside a possibility here for this Here Comes Doc to be charging at them late. The 6, the horse I like in the event, Awesome Anthony. Shane Richardson riding here for the very dangerous Carlton Cunningham. Last time out was the 20th of October for a million claimer going 6.5 furlongs when coming from off the pace, losing by a short head to Natural Dancer, who was the speed horse in the event. Pulled up prior to that on the 13th of September going 7 furlongs when 9 to 5 in a race won by Ability. Was fourth by 5 1/4 lengths to Generational going 5.5 furlongs and was second by 5.5 lengths at this distance for 1.5 million claimers to Mr. Senator. Had the Milos behind after coming to the gate slow. So definitely can handle 1 million claimers. 7 furlongs, I don't think going to be much of a problem. Pace-wise, does have the tactical speed to stalk, or if no one wants to go for that lead, possibly can get it. And this Awesome Anthony, once he turns up fit and sound, I think is the horse that is worthy of a wager. The 7, Thousand Treasures. Dane Dawkins riding here for Gary Sobrati. 7 by 19 lengths last time out in a race against out-of-class horses, American Aviator going 7 furlongs. And that race was running a smart 125.4. Before that had 6.5 furlongs for 4-year-old non-runners of 2, 6.5 furlongs. Was an easy winner, but that race was void of speed. So was basically a horse that could sit close to the pace and then run away from the late runners. But at this level, over the straight course, was running on to Generational and Rejected Raja. So I think 1 million is about up the alley here for this Thousand Treasures. Might get a pace in front of him, and this imported colt could put in a good run. And the 9, Easy Peasy. Tevin Foster riding here for Lydia Anglin. Disappointed last time out, 10th by 24 lengths to Whiskey, going 7 furlongs. Prominent early before fading. Before that, for a million claimer, 6.5 furlongs, made all the running to win by half a length from Midnight Galaxy and Here Comes the Doc. Much more comfortable here. 7 furlongs is not a problem. Did win 7 furlongs back on the 20th of September for a million claimer when beating Natural Dancer. So he's one of the horses that does have some early pace. So if he's allowed to relax up front, could be a very dangerous horse, and he has Tevin Foster to rate him, and he has stuck to this ride. So Easy Peasy, I'm giving another chance in this event. But it's a very competitive event. Other horses that I haven't mentioned in the race do have chances. You have the Real Identity, depending on the pace collapse. You have Sir John. If he turns up, he could probably run a big race. I kind of leave him out because he's up in the scales. So I think I'm going to just stick with those 4. I kind of giving an edge to Awesome Anthony. I think he has some back class. The 5th race, Nature Bred 4-year-olds and up, maiden. Not earned 280,000 lifetime. A field of 15. They go 5 furlongs straight. One down to 4. They're going to be the 6, Brilliant Mind. The 9, Chasing My Dream. The 11, Reportable Offense. And the 12, Moonlight Song. Okay. The 6, Brilliant Mind. Ryan Lewis riding here for Oral Hayden. Last time out, prominent early before fading to finish 8 by 23 lengths behind the very impressive looking Star Aura. That was for 5.5 furlongs. Before that, though, had a good run in a condition money earned race, finishing 3rd by a length and a half to She's My Dream. So being one of the horses in this event that has put in a good run and gets the services of a top jock, Ryan Lewis, for a very good and useful trainer, Oral Hayden. I'm going to give this Brilliant Mind a shot here. The 9, Chasing My Dream. Shaheem Gordon claiming 3 kilos here for Peter John Passad. Hasn't run a good race in several starts. Last good run would be on the 27th of September. In a 4 furlong straight event when finishing 4th by 2 3/4 lengths to Giant Vigorous, Enthusiastic and Humility. Since then, has been showing speed but not holding the gallop, but now getting this 3 kilo claim. The tongue tie is off and the figure 8 is off. So he had those equipments on the last 2 starts. And in this condition race, I'm going to give this Chasing My Dream a shot at running a better race coming from a good camp, Peter John Passad. The Horse I think they're going to have to beat though is the 11. Reportable Offense. Richie Shakes claiming 2 kilos here for Stephen Todd. Only 4 starts to date and pretty good runs on debut. Going 6 furlongs. 5th by 11 lengths to Riley J and Wayne's Cherry Lynx. Hansa was 3rd there and Reportable Offense was slow at the start. His next start was 5 furlong straight, running on, finishing 4th by 7 1/4 lengths to Lady Babita, Linguist and Duchess. Next start at 7 furlongs, stretched out, flashed some speed, but faded in the stretch to finish 5th by 10 lengths to Mark My Identity, Cost of Living and Road Kitty. Last time out, the 5th of March of last year, 5 furlongs straight, ran on to finish 3rd by 6 3/4 lengths to Linguist. So has run against much better and has performed better against better horses. So getting a 2 kilo claim in here, in my opinion, this would be like a drop in class. Looking at this race is Active at Exercise, 3-1 morning line. That's a good value for money. I think that's the horse they're going to have to beat. And the 12, Moonlight Song. Tanika Wolf riding here for Patrick Fong. 4 starts to date. Our debut was 6 by 9 1/4 lengths to Miss Brayton. Next start, 4th by 5 1/2 lengths to Sparkling Fire. Then a disappointing run after pressing the pace to finish 10 by 26 lengths to Star Aura. And last time out at 5 furlongs round with the pace but faded to finish 6 by 12 lengths to Dark Swan. Gets lay 6 now for the first time. Active at Exercise. Pretty light. Going to squeeze this Moonlight Song in it with a chance. So those are the 4 I think it comes down to. But the resume of Reportable Offense, once he's sound and fit, I think that's the horse to beat. The 6 race, 3-year and up, optional claimer. 350,000, 250,000 and 6 years and up, numbers of 3. Horses who have not earned 180,000 since September 30th. Big field of 15, they go 6 furlongs. Probably the toughest race on the card. This could go completely sideways. Going to boil it down to 5 horses. They're going to be the 5 Genealogy, the 10 Always Vigorous, the 13 Musquetoon, the 14 Curlin's Flight, and the 15 Ella Fortunado. Okay, Genealogy. Philip Parchment riding here for Oral Hayden. Good run last time out at 6.5 furlongs at this distance back in October when trying to make all the running. Caught in the final 16th, finishing 3rd by a length and a half to the outsider Hio Primero and the favourite Splendid Vision. So freshened up for this. Philip Parchment retains the ride. Oral Hayden is training pretty well. So I'm going to give this Genealogy another shot at running another brave race. The 10, Always Vigorous. Shaheem Gordon will claim 3 kilos here for Junior Panton. So coming in extremely light. Good run last time out in November at this level, going 5.5 furlongs when staying on, finishing 3rd to Little Groove Thing and The Love of God. I had poor races before that. Did have a decent run at 7.5 furlongs behind Zion's Princess, who won easily by 7.5 lengths when Always Vigorous finished 3rd. Has a funny action when running. Hasn't been seen at exercise, so more than likely swimming. But getting this 2-month break and coming in light, going to definitely throw him in here as one of the horses that will be staying on. And I think the distance is perfect for Always Vigorous. The 13 is Musquetoon. Musquetoon, Jaheim Anderson. I call him Little Fana. I don't know if he has a nickname, but I've nicknamed him Little Fana because his ability to judge the pace when he goes in front or coming from off the pace. And riding really well right now, this young apprentice. Will claim 4 kilos here for Gary Griffiths. Possibly the horse that has most wins in this race, Musquetoon. Came off a break from July when making his seasonal debut. No show there at this level. 8 by 12 lengths to OKO Warrior. But before that, back in July, 6 furlongs. 2nd by half a length to General Chief. Was very consistent all of last season. Had 2 wins, back-to-back wins at this level and at 6 furlongs. Beating Last Dance by 3 lengths and then beating General Chief by 3 lengths. So if this Musquetoon turns up in a fighting mood, definitely should fight this out. He's active at exercise, so I think he's sound and ready to roll. The 14, Curlin's Flight. Tevin Foster riding here for Lawrence Fremantle, so recently claimed. Curlin's Flight, although the farm line doesn't suggest that this horse looks like he has a chance, that last run, that was a good run to me, going 7.5 furlongs. This horse mixed it up the entire race all the way to the top of the lane before finally giving way. This horse hooked up with Toots, Sprague. There was another horse that had pace that was in that race. I don't remember his name. But it was a 4-horse tussle for the lead. And Curlin's Flight was battling the entire way. So I expected him to fall up in the stretch. And that was dropping down from 500,000. This horse was running against much better horses. Claimed by Lawrence Fremantle, who is a very dangerous trainer. And getting the ride here now from Tevin Foster. So that's saying, systems go. Still active at exercise. Does have natural speed. More speed is in the race, but going this distance, I think it's going to suit this curling flight if he turns up. Long shot in the race to keep an eye on. And the 15, Ella Fortunata, Christopher Mamdine, riding here for Oral Hayden. Oral Hayden, other horse in the event. So good hand here for Oral Hayden. Third by 5 3/4 lengths last time out at this level to Line Vicati. So Line Vicati beat Ella Fortunata and Curlin's Flight. Two separate races, but beat them. And I consider Line Vicati the best horse in 350,000 claimers. So those two horses ran pretty well against the best horse at the level. So I definitely have to put them in here. Ella Fortunata, in my opinion, is the horse to beat because of that run, going 7 furlongs, was prominent and only beaten 5 3/4 lengths, carrying 121 pounds. Before that, never had any real form, apart from back in October when finishing 4th by 5.5 lengths to Irish, and that was for 500,000. Active at the exercise, so looks really sound. Mamdine sticks to the ride. This Ella Fortunata looks like he's getting his act together, and if he overcomes that wide draw and gets to be in contention, void of traffic problems, I think in a race like this is the horse to beat. But as I said, this race is a very, very complex race. It's a big field. It all depends on who's going to get a clear run and who can make a move when the pace is coming back without getting shut out. So very complex race. Be very careful when you're going through the race. But these are the 5 I like. I probably use all 5, to be honest. The 7th race, Naturebred 3-year-old and Naturebred 4-year-old, Nounders of 4 and imported 3-year-old and up Nounders of 3. Small field of 6, they go 6.5 furlongs. Not going to waste much time with this. Going to boil it down to 2. They're going to be the 1, Fred the Master, and the 2, Prodigious Power. Okay, Fred the Master, Robert Haldane riding here for Jason Acosta. Highly thought of. Was expecting this horse to possibly in overnight allowance already, but did have setbacks. Has not run a bad race in all 5 starts. A win on debut at 6 furlongs by 4.5 lengths, beating Gervano. Then came back and was second by a length and a half to Gervano. Freshened up, had some problems there. Came back to finish 3rd by 5.5 lengths to a very impressive Nuclear Jet. Then got a win, going 7 furlongs when making all the running by 3 3/4 lengths to beating Linguist and Nuclear Jet, but was disqualified last time out at 7.5 furlongs. Ran a really funny race, was prominent, dropped back, and then was rallying strong in the final 16 to only be beaten a length and a quarter by the very improved Don Quessy, and had Diesel Train behind, and Diesel Train looks like a very, very useful horse. Has worked brilliantly since. Had a 5.5 workout in 106. First 5 in 1 minute and 2/5. And the blinkers are now on. So definitely they want this horse to go hard early. So Fred the Master looks like the horse they're going to have to beat with his experience. And the horse I think is going to be his main danger is Prodigious Power. 3-year-old colt. Ian Spence will be riding here for Anthony Nunes. 2 starts to date. On debut, gave it away at the start. Blew the start, was way off the fractions, and stayed on to finish 2nd by 14 lengths to another impressive looking youngster, Phenomenal Power. Came back after that in the die job sprint against the top 2-year-old, who was undefeated in 3 starts, and hooked up with Sir Don, and under a ride from Delroy Bihari, won by a head. So beat the previously unbeaten Sir Don, and that was going 6 furlongs. So Prodigious Power definitely looks like a horse that has a ton of scope for a lot of improvement. Looks something special. Stepping up against older horses now and against a very good older horse, we're going to really see how good this Prodigious Power is. So I wouldn't put it past Prodigious Power turning up in a big way. So those are the 2 I think it comes down to. For trifecta, you want to throw a horse in for the trifecta. I'm probably going to use Nunes' other horse, Papi Uso, because I think if Rico gets too involved early, might come back in the stretch with a big weight. So, as an outsider trifecta, I'll probably throw Papi Uso in. The 8th race, the feature event of the day, the Eileen Cliggott Memorial Trophy. It's a 3-year-old and up, Grade 1 stakes race, going 6.5 furlongs, 7 starters. I'm going to boil this race down to 3 horses. They're going to be the 3, Off a Revolution, the 5, Gervano, and the 7, Pat Plays. Okay, Off a Revolution. Radish Roman riding here for Anthony Nunes. 2 starts today locally. Was a winner on debut in Jamaica in the Grade 1 Bruce on the Loose, going 6.5 furlongs. Today's distance, winning by 2 lengths from Money Market and Desert of Malibu. Came back on the 1st of January, stretched out to 7 furlongs. Off the fractions, finishing 2nd by a length and a half to Gervano. And the run-on style, not a surprise, Off a Revolution when running at Gulfstream Park tend to come from off the pace. His first start here, I think he needed that run, and I think Nunes just wanted him out really early, and it worked out, even though he was tying up in the stretch a little bit. But did come with that run last time out, but Gurvana, who is a grade 1 winner and a sustained runner, held him off in the stretch. So back to 6.5 furlongs now, this Offer Revolution. He's worked well coming into this race, 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 3/5. Still has the top weight of 126 pounds. So depending on how this pace sets up here for this Offer Revolution, who's a horse who sometimes has problems and takes a long time to get ready for races. He's back really quick and seems sound and fit. Offer Revolution definitely going to fight this out. The 5, Gurvana. Robert Halladine riding here for Jason DaCosta. Yeah, watch my channel, you know that this is my favorite horse. I've been carrying this horse since he was a 2-year-old, and he's accomplished well. He's won 2 graded races so far. Disappointed in the Mute Mile, but that was against blistering fractions. He was left flat-footed when the pace quickened, but is capable of much better. Now 4 years old, so he's improving now. Comes in here 4 pounds heavier though. He's now up to 126 pounds and cutting distance to 6.5 furlongs. This is going to be a tough task, a harder task for Gurvana in this race, because this is going to be a race that's going to have a stronger front runner in it. So if Gurvana is left too far off it with this big weight going this shorter trip, he might be coming too late, unless he has improved this since this season, because he was close enough to the pace last time out, but that was against his stablemate Mamma Mia, and I don't think Mamma Mia is in the same league as Pack Play when it comes to front running abilities. Mamma Mia is more of a front runner going, routes or things like that. Against the sprinter pace, I think Pack Play is the tougher and faster front runner. So I don't know how the program is going to be for Gurvana. If he's going to sit back and hope that the pace melts down and then come with a big run, or because he has this big weight in his back, if Halladine is going to try to get him to stay close to the pace. The last time they tried that though was, I think that was back in July in the Big Man in Town going a mile, when they didn't want the pace to leave him and they stayed a little too close, but that was against Super Horse Ride All Day, and he finished second there by 7 lengths and was only 3 lengths in front of Mamma Mia at a mile. This is 6.5. This is a sprint distance. So it's, although I love Gurvana, I think he's a really big horse, unless his ability to start the pace closer and still have that big kick in the stretch, he might have a good chance at fighting it out. But as I said, the dynamic of the pace, that's what's going to see how well this Gurvana finishes in this sprint. But the horse I think they're going to have to catch for sure is going to be the 7 Pack Plays. Christopher Mamdine riding here for Rowan Matthew Jr. Christopher Mamdine on some live rides now. Pack Plays, looking at this race, to me is the horse to beat because he's undefeated at this distance. He's 2 for 2 at 6.5 furlongs. Comes in here now. In his last 6 starts, this horse has been beaten by the 2 best horses in the country. He was beaten by Legacy Isle into 3rd, going 6 furlongs. Then came back, was 3rd by a length to Legacy Isle and Ride All Day. Then came back, and that was in the Gold Cup. Then came back in the Port Royal, tried to make the running, out-kicked in the stretch by Ride All Day, Desert of Malibu. Then the Mute Mile, up with the leaders all the way to the top of the lane before fading to finish 6 by 11 lengths. That was Ride All Day and Legacy Isle again. And last time out, 5.5 furlongs in the Christopher Chris Armand Trophy. Flashed that speed again, but big horse Legacy Isle hooked up with him from the gates open and ran him into the ground and then kicked off to win by 10 lengths in 104 and 2. Pack Plays faded to finish 4th by 12 lengths. This time around, blinkers on now, tongue tie on, so that's all system goes. And there's no Legacy Isle or Ride All Day around this time around. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in front. And if not confronted early and a relaxing pass in that 3 furlong marker, Pack Plays is going to prove a very, very elusive target. So, as I said, depends on the dynamics. Is Offer Revolution going to try to attack Pack Plays from the gates open, which could set up a meltdown and cause Gurvana to come with his big run? Or are they going to just track him and allow him to relax? That's the big question sign here. We don't know what the dynamic of the race is going to be. We don't know how the trainers are going to program it. But I'm just going to rely on the pace of Pack Plays, and with no legitimate front runners in it. I think Pack Plays has a good shot of making first call to That's All. And if for some reason one of the aforementioned horses fade in the stretch, a trifecta I might catch as an upset trifecta and add Supremacy. Jaheim Anderson, I say I call him Little Fana because of his ability to rate a pace. Comes in extremely light for Anthony Nunes. Very fit, consistent horse, this Supremacy, although stepping up in class, but did run in the Bruce and Loose and was fifth by only 4.25 lengths to Offer Revolution, and was second by 3/4 length behind Digital One, going 7.5 furlongs. His last win was at 6 furlongs by 3.5 lengths. So 6.5, I think, is perfect for Supremacy. Coming in extremely light. So although lacking the class of the Principal, if one of them happens to falter in the stretch, I think Supremacy is a live contender for a trifecta at a good price, staying on with this lightweight. The ninth, the co-feature, the Bonnie Blue Flag Trophy, 3-year-old and up, overnight allowance for horses who have not won an overnight race lifetime. A field of 10, they go 7.5 furlongs, going to boil it down to 4. They're going to be the 2, Mark My Identity, the 4, Brenda Boy, the 6, Captain Sparrow, and the 8, Unruly Mo. Mark My Identity, Dane Dawkins riding here for Byron Davis. Vastly improved 4-year-old colt, had 3 consecutive wins the back end of last season. When coming to overnight allowance, was third by 2.5 lengths to Interesting Times Ahead in a race that came out of the gate slow and was hung out at the furlong pole when coming with a run, but still ran brave to finish only 2.5 lengths behind Interesting Times Ahead. Brenda Boy ran on to pass My Identity in the final 16th. Next start was in the St. Catherine Cup, going 6 furlongs. Awful beginning, way behind the field, but stayed on to finish third, and the winner was Out of Class Nautical Star, who won by 9. So My Identity was only 4.5 lengths behind a Grade 1 winner, Champion Bubbler. So definitely coming in here with a good shot, even though 2 pounds up in the handicaps. My Identity should fight this out. The 4, Brenda Boy, Robert Haldane riding for Jason DaCosta, has improved since finally winning non-winners of 4 at 6.5 furlongs. Stepped up to overnight allowance and ran well twice. Second by 2 lengths to Interesting Times Ahead, having My Identity behind. And last time out at 9 furlongs and 25 yards. Start the pace, running on to finish second by a length and a half to Provident. That race was void of speed though, so Brenda Boy was relaxed and close enough to the pace to come with a big run. Is up in the scales though, but definitely looks to be on the improved, and I'm expecting Brenda Boy to put in another decent run. The 6, the danger horse in the race, Captain Sparrow, Radish Woman riding here for Anthony Nunes. This deep closing 5-year-old horse is a horse that prefers to have some pace in front of him to run at and prefers route races. So 7.5, although looking a bit short for Captain Sparrow, will get some pace in front of him this time around. Has been in overnight company now for the past 5 starts. Last time out, 5th by 3 lengths, going 9 furlongs and 25 yards. Gave it away at the start, was way behind the field, detached completely, but was flying home late to only be beaten 3 lengths to Provident and didn't have a pace to run at there. Before that, at a mile, broke very smart, came out of the gates fast, but then given a loose rein and faded way back behind the field, was more than 20 lengths off the pace at one point and stayed on to finish 4th by 5.25 lengths. We'll get some speed to run at this time around, and if the front runners cook themselves early, no doubt in my mind, this will be the horse finishing the strongest in the stretch, although I think he would prefer maybe another furlong or so, but expecting a big run from this Captain Sparrow. And the 8, Unruly Mo, Ryan Lewis riding here for Ora Hayden. Ora Hayden has some live horses on this card. Now, Unruly Mo, nothing in recent stats. His last win was back in October when winning 3-year-old non-winners of 4 over the straight 5 course, beating Strongman and Bowmore. Had a win at a mile for non-winners of 4, pressing the pace all the way to win by a neck from Miss Grove and King Pie. Now 4 years old, so this horse maturing now. His last run was over the straight course, finishing 8 by 8.5 lengths to another 1. This race is void of real, genuine sprinter speed. So he possibly could be the animal that gets out there and goes to the front when the gates open. The blinkers are off, cheek pieces on, so they might not want him to tear away, but want him to rate. But if he gets to that lead and gets to relax, busy at exercise, this horse could be a dangerous horse if they allow him to slip off on the headlines. And a outsider horse I'm going to throw into this event is going to be the 7, Oil Machine. Omar Walker riding here for Philip Elliott. Useful 5-year-old horse. Last win was for 4-year-old non-winners of 4 at this distance back in September when beating Trainer Thought and Brenda Boy when coming from off the pace. Since coming to this level, has run some good races, was 3rd by a length and a half to Main Mistress, and then was 2nd at 6 furlongs by 2 lengths to Zulu Warrior. Zulu Warrior now running in open allowance. Had Provident behind there. was beaten by Provident at 9 furlongs and 25 yards, went too early for his own good because that race was void of speed. So Oil Machine kind of went and hooked up with the leaders, only beaten 2 lengths there. Last time out at 6 furlongs, didn't raise a gallop in the St. Catherine Cup, but that was against out-of-class Nautical Star. So back amongst company he can handle. The visors are on, back again, so they're going to want him close enough to the pace to stalk. And the distance is no problem. As I said, his last win was at this distance. And he definitely looks like an outsider worthy of upsetting this race. I might use all 5 what I just said there. My top 4, as I said, was My Identity, Brenda Boy, Captain Sparrow, and Unruly Mo. Very complex race. I don't really go out on a limb because I think any one of these horses can win. If Unruly Mo is relaxed on the front end and doesn't get any pressure from Mac and Rome and slips off, can steal it. Brenda Boy getting better with each run and seems to be catching the pace of this class. If not too far off, can put in a good run. Captain Sparrow, if he gets a pace to run at this time around and they fold in the stretch, he will be the horse finishing the best. And My Identity is improving at rapid state. And if he's close enough to the pace leaving that half mile, is possibly the horse they're going to all have to beat. And as I said, Oil Machine at a price is a very dangerous horse. Competitive event. I think My Identity is the horse they're going to have to beat for sure. I'm kind of hoping for a pace meltdown. And if that happens, it's going to suit Captain Sparrow. I like the odds. I'll probably put a wager win and place on Captain Sparrow and probably buy him in a Quinella with My Identity and Unruly Mo. The 10th and final, nature bred 4-year-olds and up, knowledge of 2 unimported 4-year-olds and up maiden. Fillies and mares, big field of 14. They go 6 furlongs, another tough contest in a program that already has a lot of tough races. We're going to boil it down to 4. They're going to be the 4, Native Flyer, the 7, Roman Lady, the 8, She's My Dream, and the 14, Family Feud. Okay, Native Flyer. Siobhan Townsend claiming 2 kilos here for Stephen Todd. 5th by 4 3/4 lengths last time out to Miss Brayton at 5 furlongs round. Before that had back-to-back seconds. Going 6 furlongs was second by a length and a half to Brahma Bull. Had Miss Brayton behind there in a race that Native Flyer came out of the gate slow. And then after that over the straight course, chased Ascend the entire way to finish second. Had Bangarang behind there. So Native Flyer, distance perfect. If she gets a good pace in front of her, which I think is possible here, Native Flyer, once getting out of traffic and coming in the stretch clean, should have a good shot to fight this out. The 7, Roman Lady. Robert Haldane riding for Jason Acosta. All the rage on debut at 1-2, going 5 furlongs straight. But that was a tough field. Beaten by Prince Kazir, the very fit Nebuchadnezzar, and Bangarang. But she was the leader early. Worked well coming into that race and probably needed that run. Will get some pace once again in this race, but will be going around the bend this time. She didn't get to catch her breath over that straight course run. This time, she might get to relax into the turn. So once she gets to the front and gain experience from that first run, expecting Roman Lady to put in another good run. The 8, She Is My Dream. Now, She Is My Dream. Christopher Mamdine, as I said, is on some live rides. Rides here for Ian Alexander. Kind of like this She Is My Dream. She's morning line, her morning line is 12-1. Last run wasn't a bad run, 5th by 4.5 lengths against out-of-class horses, Ralph Treasure and Miss Grove. And that was for non-winners of 3. She was stepping up in class and ran well. Before that, at this level, 5 furlongs round, came from off the pace to finish second by a length to Miss Brayton. Before that, at 5.5 furlongs, early in the pace, faded to finish 6 by 5 lengths to Dreamer's Corner, Cutout, and Native Flyer. That race had some pace in it as well. So, stepping back down in class now, Christopher Mamdine gets back this ride. He didn't ride it last time out, but he now rides it. He rode this horse 4 times previously. Now reclaims the ride. Looks fit. I think she's going to get a pace in front of her. And if there's an upset in this race, I think She's My Dream is the right candidate to do it. And the 14, Family Feud. Now, Family Feud, Emilia McLean claiming 3 kilos here for Winston Morris. Speedy filly. She loves to go out there early, and she prefers if there's no pace in the race. 1 and 2 horses near might have some speed. As I said, Roman Lady showed speed on her debut, so she might try to go after this Family Feud. But one thing for certain, from the 14 draw, I think McLean is going to try to get Family Feud right in front before they hit that half-mile turn. She was 3rd last time out by a length and a quarter, going 5 furlongs round in that same race with Miss Brayton. Before that, over the straight course, a very fast-looking Ascend. She couldn't get to the lead there, going 5 round before that. Was right with the Speedball Margarita before fading in the stretch to finish 3rd by 9.5 lengths. So I think she represents the other speed horse in the event, and from the outside draw probably gets to the lead early, but I think she's going to have to battle. But if not, if no one decides to go with her, she could probably steal it. The blinkers are on and tongue tie on, so definitely wants to go in front early. And if she is allowed to get to the lead, she's going to be the horse they're going to have to catch. So competitive last race. So very competitive race. We don't know how good this Roman lady is. You know, she has worked brilliant. I said, I don't know if she's a morning glory. First time she ran. Although beaten, wasn't a bad beat, and that was her first start against very good horses. This time she could turn up and just blow this field away. We don't know. This is her second start. But as I said, be very careful of the 8. She is my dream. She's stepping back down in class. Money line says 12 to 1. That's good value for money. Okay, guys, that's it on a very competitive looking program. I hope I found some winners on this card. And as always, stay safe.